Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm your host, Colleen the Hair Healer. I invite you to embark with me upon a journey of exchanging energy and creating conversations with my clients as we discuss our journeys through life. So come with me and let's see where today's episode takes us. Happy Monday and welcome back everyone to the Hair Healer Podcast quarantine series. And it is my 20th episode today. What the blank? I cannot believe I even got here. Now, most of you know this has been my dream since I was a kid to be a talk show host. Love to talk. But really, just putting the words and the thoughts into action began about a year ago. And this started out as a YouTube channel. I was going to do what I'm doing, only in person, not so much through a podcast. And I'm still going to do that. But the podcast ended up coming up as a quicker and more efficient way for me to get this done and get this out there, right? And I could afford the equipment that I needed to put on a good podcast versus I need a little more money to afford the equipment I can do to put a YouTube channel up that's up to my satisfactory. So that will be coming down the road. But anyways, that's how it started. I didn't know how. I made like this stupid video. I made a YouTube channel and then I started writing. I started asking my clients. I sat down and I said, how to make an amazing podcast. Okay. I knew I had the personality. That's 90% of it. Now I need the technical work. And I sat there and just wrote it down, got my clients, started recording in September, dropped it in January. And here we are a year later on my 20th episode. And we so far have survived a pandemic. When the pandemic came along, I said, okay, well, I can't do this anymore. So switched it. Now it's people all around the world, my quarantine series. So again, life is always going to throw you guys curveballs and switch it up and shifts. And you just need to learn how to flow with it. I think this is giving us all an opportunity to learn how to go with it, flow with it, and just switch it up. That's why I always say I make goals. I do not make plans, because plans, if you put an expectation, you'll end up being disappointed because plans always end up being screwed off. I put a goal, something I could work towards, something I want, but that way I'm also open to all outcomes at the end of it. Okay, so that's something we're learning. The sun moves into Taurus yesterday. Okay, we're taking a little breather from that fire energy, but people have a misconception that Tauruses are lazy and slow, stubborn, steady, and that is absolutely true. All of that is part of them, but actually they have this strong and powerful force. They are a bull, right? Headed right towards summertime. They're in the yang part of the year. They're excited, they're happy, and they're in full force. Okay. So that's a misconception. And I have about Taurus energy. Again, it is steady, slow, stubborn, but it's also a whole other force to be reckoned with. Okay. A force, they get stuff done. If you've ever been around Taurus placements, they are loving, loyal, persistent, and they get stuff done. So take that power, that energy into the sun, into the everyday experience you have today, and use it full force. Be reliable. Put people in your life that are reliable, that you can rely on, that bring you longevity. Maybe a little bit of stubbornness, but that is a lot of loyalty is tied to that. Who is reliable in your life right now? Who can you really rely on? I think that this time has exposed us all to who is really there for us, good, the bad, and ugly. And in the end, I know for me, who was there the most for me is my higher power, my spiritual practice, the people, my angels, ancestors, and guides, the people that have my back, have been there for me in my darkest of times during this when I was all alone. So remember that. Take this time, go full force. Yes, it's a fixed sign, so it can have that but use that and that aggression, that stubbornness to persist in something in your life. Keep persisting, keep moving forward, and just keep going. We will get to the end of this. We also have a moon in Aries today. So think fire, passion, determination, a little bit of a shorter fuse, maybe flying off the handle or not listening, or just wanting to correct someone, or just not wanting to hear someone that maybe they have something to say to you that could hurt your ego. Remember, bold, fiery, quick to react, insensitive remarks that can go both ways. You could either be saying them or people can be saying them to you, and you might be more sensitive to them or easy to react instead of you might have just blown it off or laughed it off. You might just kind of react to it. So that's just a little update for what to expect for this week and today. Now, this episode, we'll get into this episode. I'm going to start doing, because I'm doing a lot of these, like 2 episodes a week, and I'm going to try to keep them sort of relative. So today is with my good friend and someone I've known my entire life, Joe Stapleton. He is out in New York City, actually Jersey City he lives, but works for NBC in New York City. And I have known him my whole life. I cannot remember. My brother was 8 years older than me, and it's his best friend. And there's not a time when I look back in my childhood, do I not remember him being there. All I wanted was my brother's attention, still do. And I just loved being around him and his friends and knowing them. I was always trying to kiss them. We talk about that on this episode, and wanting to be near them. When a little backstory again about my life. My brother was 12. I think we did, him and I talk about it on this episode. My parents bought him a video camera, and him and his friends, Joe Stapleton, and my next interview this week, all got together. They developed a production agency from scratch on a computer back in like 98, okay, in high school. They made movies. They sold them. I mean, you could rent them at our local video store, Video Visions. Every day they're working on film, either filming, making movies, or putting on plays at the golf course, having golfers in there. My entire life, this is what I saw. So it's interesting to now see how they have all grown up. And my brother's a writer in LA. Joe's is in New York for NBC. So it's all this, they all kind of stayed in the same arena of their dreams. And that really is a lot, I think, as to why I love the limelight. Because I was always like, here, I want to be in your movie. I want to be in your play. Let me do this. I'll do anything, blah, blah, blah. And here I am still wanting to be the star of my own show. So on here, we talk about the quarantine, we talk about his life, we talk about my life on the golf course, his first memory of me, which is very, very funny and very true. And we just talk all kinds of things. He's very interesting, has a lot of interesting perspectives. Joe has his own YouTube channel, Jersey Joe. We talk about why they call him Jersey Joe, and he has live games and shows 4 nights a week, which is really, really cool. And so this is a really fun, interesting episode. Again, this is tied a little more into my life, and so will be the episode that is coming out on Wednesday with Simon. I also grew up with him. He was also my brother's best friend. So again, you'll get a little bit of life and my life growing up and just their life overall in quarantine. And you never know what you're going to hear here on the Hair Healer podcast. I hope everyone has a fabulous day, week. I love you all. And don't forget, please rate, review, subscribe, send this to someone. And also follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111 and on TikTok at the Hair Healer. If you have any questions or anything, you can email me at the Hair Healer podcast at yahoo.com. Sorry, even though it's simple, I've forgotten I've the Hair Healer in so many different ways. It's so annoying, but that's it. Love you guys. Here we go. Let's go vibe with Joe. Jersey Joe. Hey everyone, it's the Hair Healer. It is the second quarantine episode. I'm excited to have my long-term friend, I guess you'd say more like a brother, who pretty much helped raise me, Jersey Joe, here in our quarantine. He is in Jersey City. Say hello.
Hello, Colleen. Thanks for having me on. And I am quarantined here, not ill. It's just they made us stay here from work. I have gone out and hit the dollar store pretty heavy during all this, so it's okay. We're dealing with it.
How do you feel about it?
I don't like being cooped up. I'm very creative first. I like being out and about. But you know what? Health comes first. We got to do the right thing. It's a tough time for everyone. No need to be out being a fool right now. They tell you to stay home. They tell you that for a reason. It's not, nobody's playing around. I mean, they don't want restaurants and stores to be closed. They want people out spending money. They want you to live your life. But right now, we just got to push pause for a second. A reset, as you call it.
A reset. Now, have you broken the rules, the quarantine rules at all?
No, I have not. It's a quarantine, but it's not like you can't go out quarantine. No, I have not. Now, I also work in the media, so I actually have a Homeland Security pass to go to work if I need to. So if they called me in right now here, even though it's after hours, I'm supposed to be home, I could go in. But thankfully, I have not had to go into work. I work at a Record Center. As soon as it started happening, they immediately started sending staff home, setting people up. I got to give them credit. They took care of us, our health-wise. So a lot of places didn't wait too long. So they were on it, and New York City was on it too.
Starbucks wasn't even on it like that. I just read a bunch of articles.
When I left the building, it was business as usual down the concourse. All the restaurants and bars were open. And I've been home for almost 3 weeks now. That was a week before St. Patrick's Day when they sent me home.
That's crazy.
I work in television. I never thought I'd be producing, creating television from my living room, but here we are, my Hewlett-Packard computer, and it works.
So were you like a month ago or 6 weeks ago? I was like, so my kid's father is this crazy, like ex-military prepper guy who's been following from day one. He's like, it's coming, it's going to take over. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way the United States could shut down. Were you like that?
That's what we all thought too. But what's crazy is, like, I remember my grandmother telling me what they went through during World War II. A couple things, like they would be driving in Johnstown back home we're from and having to pull the car over and shut your lights off because, they were scared that they were doing drills, that they were going to be bombed. The grocery stores would close because there was nothing in the stores because they were sending materials overseas. Well, we're kind of going through that now too, which we never thought we would. And the other thing is it happens so fast. War is different. That was a physical war with people fighting people. This is a germ that's coming after us right now. And that's killing people, which is a different kind of war altogether. And this is one, if we're smart, we can win. If we're stupid, we're all going to lose.
I know. And how do you think the administration's doing so far?
50-50. It depends who they are. The White House, in my opinion, the White House knew this was coming back in January, back in December. Slow to get on the ball to do anything. Trump, it's not a big deal. At first, it's not going to happen. And then it escalated very quickly. And now, you hear in the news that we are running out of masks. We are running out of supplies in the National Archives. So in D.C., they played around too long. They should have been on it. Any war movie you watch, when Morgan Freeman was in charge, and when Dennis Haysbert was in charge on 24, shit was A, B, C, D, ready to go. You knew what you had to do. These guys down there right now, they're really out of touch with, I think, us humans. But some of the state governors have done well. Like, I live in New Jersey. Our governor's done okay. Governor Cuomo in New York has been a freaking superstar. He gets on TV and talks too much, but he took care of New York too. And so did Mayor de Blasio, who's always
Governor Wuff.
Actually, had a plan and kind of started preparing for this before DC did. And, let's admit, our president's too busy playing bully too. He's done some good things. He's also done a lot of stupid things too. And he's got to get us together. We got to quit hating each other. That's the big thing right now. He's still on TV spewing hate. Now is not the time for that.
No, but he gets the best of everything. It's the best.
And some of it's funny. I'm going to admit some of it is comedy. I love comedy more than anybody I do. But there's times where a reporter, and some reporters do ask stupid questions too. Let's be honest. The media is trying to fill 24 hours of news. So there is some bullshit going on there. There's trouble on both sides. Nobody's 100% right. But, we got to get on a better page of working together. To
be conspiracy theory, I hate to sound like again, to bring up the news and 24-hour news, is there is, I think that's going to be something that's going to be a fall down that you're going to see in the next 2 years, and not on a Trump way, but in just there is a lot of falseness to news 24 hours. Because you have to, again, 24-hour news, and you have to and then kind of the families behind owning all of it.
That's partially true. And then also with advertising revenues being down from this, people not having jobs, the money behind those will not necessarily be there. So there will be a change from that. I also think that right now, a lot of people like myself are producing television from home, which you can do with YouTube now. So that's going to change that map as well. But there are some producers too that, I would say most news you watch on TV is not generally fake. I will say that, working in the media. There are some things where it's a stretch. They like to stretch to pull you in. And there's certain networks that do that more than others.
Who does it more?
They're so desperate for ratings. Like CNN right now, they'll put breaking news on Donald Trump having a button fall. Oh my God, breaking news. So breaking news, and A, that's not breaking news. And B, when it also happened 12 hours before, it's still not breaking news. So there is that kind of BS going on. Most newsrooms, though, especially in a time of need right now, are trying to serve the people in the railway, but there are some people that aren't. And there are also other producers that are just trying to fill those 24 hours. They really are. And sometimes they do more harm than good.
Yeah. Do you think that this is going to start, we're going to be allowed out of our homes come May? Or do you think it's going to be longer?
I'm no expert. I'll be honest. I'm just I'm your average Joe, no pun intended.
Jersey Joe.
Yeah, and absorbs this just like you do. So I'm going to throw an opinion out here. I've been told that I will not be going back to work anytime before April 30th. We'll not be going back into the building. And when we do go back, it's going to be staggered. We're going to first go in. Certain people go in first. When you go in, we'll still be kept 6 feet apart or whatever. So I was my prediction, which has no merit whatsoever, I was predicting Memorial Day weekend we might start to get back to normal. But now I read more things like Major League Baseball is targeting July 4th weekend. Now I'm like, oh, this might go on a little longer than we thought. And I tell you, if we go past Memorial Day, people are going to go batshit crazy. They're just going to want to get out of their homes. And
it's going to be rioting.
Yeah, and then also they had to close the parks here because people weren't staying home. They were going to the parks. But you can only keep people cooped up in a box for so long.
That's it. And I said because normally every year, if you look, crime goes up when it gets hot out and gets warmer and it's sunny. So people are going to get really crazy. And if it goes past to June, they're going to fuck some shit up.
Mm-hmm. The bonus is right now, though, with everybody actually pretty much staying home, crime is down, especially in New York City, which is always a blessing. It's a good thing. Nobody wants that. But now prisoners in jail are getting sick, too, just like the rest of us.
I was wondering that. I was wondering about how many or not that of course, isn't getting reported, right? Jails, rehabs, the homeless community, like the underprivileged, or how are they doing?
They're in it with the rest of us. They're, being here in like the New York City metro area, we got it first before everybody else. And they're suffering it just like we are. It's their numbers of sickness are increasing. It's hard to tabulate the homeless because they're not always in one location at the same time. Yes, they're assigned to certain shelters, but they're not always going to be there. They're on the train still, and there is an outreach group trying everything they can to do that. But it's hard when you don't have the resources to keep up with something like that. Unfortunately, they go to plan B and C at this point. Like, they're not top priority right now. People are just trying to keep basic infrastructure running, the hospitals, the subway, government. Like, they are just trying to do that right now as more and more of them get sick too.
So what are you doing to keep your mindset up, your vibe up? Jersey Joe.
I'm always a positive person. I try to be positive. And two things.
That's your Gemini rising.
Yes. I still do my web shows all the time, which for me has always been a creative outlet. So that hasn't changed. I'm still able to do that. I'm able to, chat with you like this over camera or whatever over the internet. And I've done that. I've gotten the phone here and chatted with a few people. So I've done that. I've called home. I've kept in contact. But, basically outside of that, I'm still inside the box. And then, when it's the weekend and I know I'm not working, well, that's what booze is for.
Wait, Smile, can I take a picture?
Liquor stores, you know what, though? Make sure you're 21, kids. Don't.
Wait, hold on, Smile. I'm going to take a picture because I have to take a picture of us for Smile. Oh, yeah. Wait, hold your alcohol up.
No, I don't hold my alcohol. I hold my
That's perfect.
This is more me. Oh, yeah, by the way.
Are you still drinking Mountain Dew after all these years?
Used to live the world without Mountain Dew. I've been addicted to this since high school. I've been definitely drinking this for 20 plus years. I have a coffee in the morning, then this bad boy's cracked by 9 o'clock a.m. I am no good without it. You don't want to know me. It's just, I don't even make sense. I walk to my boss's office. She'll call me in first thing, and she's like, "You have not had your Mountain Dew yet. Go and come back." And
Joe, that's hilarious. You might be the only person I know that still drinks Mountain Dew.
I stock up on this. I've had like 6 packs of it from Amazon, have it delivered in a big case. It's just easier and cheaper than buying a vending machine all the time. And I love all the flavors. It's like in 10 flavors right now. See, Colleen, I try to find the little positive things no matter what.
Look, that's it. That's great. How many of the golf course did you ever have Mountain Dew?
Oh, tons at the golf course. Back then, though, when we were there, though, it was only like in one flavor. And then finally, like in the late 90s, it went with 2. But back in the day, it was green, and that was it.
That was it. Out of all the drinks at the golf course, out of all the soda, and we talk on here a lot about, I grew up on Pleasant Valley Golf Course. Joe was like a brother to me. He's one of my brother's best friends. So he's known me since I was like born. Right? How long do you think you've known me? What's your first memory of me?
Do you really want me to say this? Okay, because I'm going to.
Okay, so say it.
I knew Colleen since she was in elementary school. And the very first time I met you, you were holding cats. You always would take the cats and play games with cats. You would dress up the cats, push cats around in strollers, and kitties did not like that.
I used to make my cats go into strollers.
Mm-hmm. You'd play dress up where you had a little kitchenette set there and then in your place, and you would have fun with the cats. We used to joke that you had a cat army the night that nobody knew about, and it was fun.
That's hilarious. And I love hearing that because I have no memory of that. No memory.
In some of our early movies that we made back at the golf course, you're holding cats in them. You had cats. Your brother hated cats. We used to throw the cats in his bedroom. He hated it. Get that cat out and throw the cat out.
Do you think he was really allergic to it or he just hated them?
No, it was all bullshit.
It was all bullshit.
because the cat would run around his room, and then like you would be in your living room where the cat was. He wasn't sneezing, so
it was all bullshit.
It's bullshit, Ryan. Everybody knew that back in the day, and well, the secret's out now.
Such a bullshit. That's so funny. I remember once. I feel like I used to always try to. I don't know if you remember this. Try to kiss all of my brother's friends, and I think the one time you wouldn't kiss me, and I think I poured milk on your head. I have a memory of that. Do you remember that?
I do not remember having anything dumped on my head. No.
I have this memory of sitting in the living room after my parents were divorced and at the house on the golf course, and you were in the chair, there was like the recliner and then the couch, and you were in the chair, and I feel like I kept trying to get you to kiss me, and you were like, no, get away from me, like, you annoying little thing, and I poured milk on your head. And it could be a dream, but I very vividly remember this.
I do not remember that, but they do say milk does a body good.
How did you and my brother ever meet?
Through our friend Simon Pogline, and who I'm still Simon's my best friend of this day. We're very close.
I'm doing what episode of Simon on Friday night.
Oh, that ought to be a blockbuster. It's just, I knew Simon from, we were in high school. No, I met Simon in elementary school, late elementary school, but we ended up being like in high school chorus. And then, marching band, I think I was like in 9th grade. Whatever your brother's youngest year, y'all with marching band in high school, might have been 8th grade or whatever. So Simon introduced me to Ryan like way before that. And then he ended up being a marching band. We hung out and just started going to movies and stuff. And then that was it. And well, we still talk now.
Wow. And then, so I'm trying to remember my earliest memory of you, I guess maybe 2nd, 3rd grade, right? The movies. How did you... So I always think to my brother, like now looking at my life and knowing my astrology chart and how I'm taking off and where I'm in, I feel like I was just like primed for this, right? I was this little sister who was like watching this entire world create. And for those of you who are listening right now on my show, so my brother and Joe right now, Jersey Joe, again, they have since like back when no one was doing this, I know my parents bought my brother a video camera at like 12. And so they created when was this? 97, 96? When did Firefly Online, the production agency, come out?
My God, 1994.
That's crazy. Right? No one is doing it. And they got online and, right, can you tell, what did you guys create? And I was in my brother's movies. Like, how did you create that? Looking back now online, that's amazing.
I mean, I wasn't involved in the very, very first production. That was Ryan and Simon kind of did that on their own. And I was kind of doing my own little thing in the AV department. And then, I started editing and they needed an editor and Simon wasn't able to edit like the second production. So I kind of like helped clean up the end of the first production. And then I just got involved with number 2, which was the following summer, and just went from there. And then, we'd make at least one movie every summer. We always did plays at the golf course. We're always putting on shows, which I always, I like to perform. I like to entertain. I like to create content. I've been doing that for decades. When I was in elementary school, I put on little plays. I was in high school. We did the morning show. Your brother and I created the morning show.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then the Firefly movies, the golf course, the plays, the golf course. And then what was interesting for me in my life personally is that became my permanent career. I work in television now. I got a job at the Fox station and ABC station in Johnstown, worked my way up, and now I'm at NBC in New York. So, wow.
So you went from Johnstown to New York, right?
Well, no, I went from Johnstown to York, PA, the Fox station, then to Pittsburgh for a few years, and then to New York. And I've been in New York now I've been in New York for 15 years. Wow. Well, that number just hit me in the head, too. I didn't realize that.
So what did life feel like when you first finally walked into New York City and you're like, holy shit, here I am, I made it?
2 things, because I always knew I wanted to be and work in New York. And then, I took trips to your family up here when we were younger. So,
I was thinking that. You did come with us to our Christmas trips, right?
And like Simon and I would come up here. So I kind of knew where I was going and what I was doing before I permanently moved here. So in fact, it was either going to be I was going to work in New York City or I was going to work in Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas too. I find Las Vegas my escape place. I have so much fun there. So it was going to be that. So I actually applied to the Fox station in New York. There was an opening. There was an opening at the Fox station in Vegas too. I got the interview at Fox in New York. They hired me. I accepted the job. I was getting ready to move to New York when they called me from Vegas for an interview. And I'm like, well, I just got the job in New York. So that chose that path and go to New York. But I knew where I was going. I knew where to stay. So it was a pretty easy transition for me to get here. I already knew the city street grid. So it wasn't hard to figure out, navigate the area. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. And when I would travel, I would always fly on New York TV. I'd read New York blogs and stuff like that, or magazines, things like that. So I was obsessed with the city. I love the Yankees. So it was, it was already part inside me. Plus, we had family that lived up here, so it was already in my genes a little bit.
So you had both. You had an option. You had a fork in the road. It's interesting. I wonder where your life would have gone if you went to Vegas.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting. I'm kind of glad I ended up in New York because, again, I love Las Vegas. That's my playtime city, my fun city. I have such.
Do you gamble? Why do you love Vegas?
It's my escape. Everybody has their own escape, and bad thing is I do enjoy gambling, probably too much.
Are you a gambler?
Yeah, way too much. I gamble for fun. You've seen my web show, Online Gambling Jersey Joe, where I go through online gambling. It's on my Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. But, I like slot machines. I love video poker. So for me, it's where I can go let my hair down and escape. So I'm actually, in retrospect, maybe kind of glad that I didn't end up getting a job there. But I can see myself retiring in Vegas at the end of the day because New York's prices are going to skyrocket. My retirement dollars, if there's anything left after this whole bankruptcy coronavirus thing, will go further in Vegas. Plus, there's low taxes out there compared to here in New York, New Jersey. It's just...
What's your favorite casino?
Over the years, it's changed. Right now, my favorite casino is the Four Queens downtown on Fremont Street.
I never even heard of that. Why is it your favorite?
I like the old school Vegas, number one. Number two, I like the fact that there's no resort fees. Too many Vegas casinos and places you go out there now charge you up to $50 extra a night and don't tell you until you get the bill at the end, just as a bullshit fee for them to make money. Four Queens doesn't do that. They have great staff. They got great customer service there. They always send me complimentary room nights and offers. And I like the old school vibe. Too much of the strip now, they're all a carbon copy of each other. They're all kind of the same. They took away the fun, like Treasure Island took away the sailing ship show.
I remember that.
It's just everything's becoming the same. Whereas at least downtown, at least there's still a little bit more fun things to do. And I think I get better odds down there. Although my last trip contradicts that, but
So what's the most you've ever won?
What's that?
What's the most you've ever won?
I'm not a high roller. It's been several grand.
That's great.
It is until the Uncle Sam comes and takes his cut. And then all of a sudden, I owe that. I go 15th following year. Make sure you hold that money because they will come for it.
How much do they take? 15%, 20%?
It's 25% for federal, and then depending on what state you're in, it's another 10. Here in New Jersey, it's 10. So basically, when you win anything over $11.99, they'll come and take 35%. Look, picture it this way: Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The game show. The prize is $1 million, right? You don't go home with $1 million. You go home with about $550,000 after the taxes, after the state tax, the federal tax. And you owe that come April 15th, and you will go to jail if you don't pay that. So you have to set that aside. And so many people don't. And
I'm not good at that.
Here comes Uncle Sam.
I'm a shopper. I enjoy the kind of like the essence of the casino every once in a while. But I'm like, okay, I'll play like $100, and after that I'm done. But I'll still hang out. But I think about all the clothes I could buy.
That is true. And, I like the complimentary drinks. The one thing I hate about casinos is the smoke. We got to do something about the cigarette smoke. You got to get better HVAC systems in there. And so many times I've sat down and played like video poker at a bar. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. The baseball games on, I'm watching it. I'm hanging out with my little bro Joel out there, who's like one of my best people I've ever met. And we're watching the game. Or like when I go out with Simon, my friend Chris Miller from Atlantic City, and party, and we're watching the game. And then somebody sits down and just lights up a stinky cigar, and everybody's like, oh, and we're out of here. And you'll see the bar clear like that. The days of that kind of like smoking stuff like that are really kind of over.
It really is over.
Not.
Do you go to Atlantic City like that? You have a little Atlantic City right there.
I do go to Atlantic City too. Yes, I do. And it's the funny thing for me is like from here to New York, I just jump on a bus and go down there. It's pretty much kind of easy, kind of nice.
What's the how often do you gamble?
Well, I do my weekly gambling web show, so there you go.
Listen, no judgments there. Once a week.
I'll have a couple too many cocktails, and then suddenly I'll find myself playing video poker or Wheel of Fortune slots.
Were you a video game person as a kid? Or like, were you a video game person as a kid?
Yes. I played Atari. I played Nintendo. I had a Super Nintendo. I think once I got like past the age of 16, pretty much once we started making the movies, I think is when my video gaming kind of ended, because then it was more editing the video and going that route. And then once I worked in television, I really kind of left the gaming behind. I do play Candy Crush on my phone here, though, on the subway. It's a great way to pass time every day, so I will tell you that.
I played Candy Crush years ago when it first came out, but I can't. My attention span, games are just not my thing. I lose attention very fast.
One of my big skills I can tell you is I am a champ at Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man. I can be on Ms. Pac-Man for a very, very long time. I've repeated the symbols over and over. I've never played the game to the end, but when I get on it with a quarter, there's an adult arcade here. Not a sex arcade, actually an old school video arcade at a bar.
Oh, that's not as fun as a sex arcade.
Well, I don't know. I'm entertained on Miss Pac-Man for a while, and she's a lovely lady with her big round yellow head.
Miss or Mr.? Do they have one or two? I didn't even realize they had two different ones.
This arcade here has Miss Pac-Man, which I love, the regular Pac-Man, and actually have Pac-Man Jr., which is a rare game. It's a video game pinball machine hybrid. So you play the video game, and then when you get off the side in a bonus round, you go down below. It's an old school pinball machine. You play for more bonus chips or bonus points, and then you go back up on the screen and you finish out your regular Pac-Man game. But your baby Pac-Man, your little, it's big and small. It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of, that's funny. I'm trying to think. Look, wait, go ahead.
You can bet on Pac-Man now in Vegas, too. That's the new thing where gambling in casinos, because they're trying to get the younger crowd, are doing what's called skill-based gaming. It's not a slot machine. It's basically it'd be like you and me sitting down at a Miss Pac-Man machine. We bet against each other, and whoever wins takes the money.
Wow.
That's the total new thing. It's kind of working. Millennials don't want to play in casinos, A. And B, they don't have the money to spend in casinos either. So they're trying to get that audience, but that's not really working, which is why they're charging more fees now.
That's interesting. How many of us, you're right, millennials, I'm at like the older end of millennial, like are not going to do all that bullshit. We're not buying single family homes. We're not going to gamble. That's interesting how that's going to take it down. So let's talk about your chart, since I didn't get to on your live show, which is called again. What's your live show called again?
Well, my YouTube channel is Jersey Joe 50, and right now there are 4 shows a week on there, and I love. The main show you just recorded for me was Kicking Back with Jersey Joe. That's my online variety show. It's my oldest show. It's in its 6th season now.
Wow.
And it's basically anything. I'm offering you a 5-minute escape from the real world, especially now life sucks. I will give you 5 minutes of laughs. I will go in the bar here and play games with patrons. I'll make them play old game shows. I go online. There's an app called the Citizen App's my favorite. And I find funny things people call 911 for. I talked with you. You just gave me a reading online. I had a magician on last week. It's a variety show. My second show is called Caption This and Spin to Win. It's my game show. It's my newest show I just launched. I put a picture up on social media. You guys drop a funny line. I find which line I think is the funniest. I spin a prize wheel, and the person and whatever lands on a prize wheel, I'll pay you that much an Amazon gift card. And top prize is $50 on wheel right now, but there's a progressive jackpot too, which could exceed that.
We'll love it.
And then my other show is The Brew. That's where I meet my brew from Vegas, and it's who I mentioned earlier. And we basically talk about life for about 5 minutes. I meet him online for a beer live. It's recorded live on the internet, then it's rebroadcast later. And we'll pick a topic, a bar topic, tweet that out, let people chime in, weigh in, whether they're live or we comment on it, run a poll. And just basically him and I, because we are so similar, share our experience. And then the last one I mentioned is the Online Gambling Jersey Joe real quick, which basically I'll pick some type of online game from an online casino here in New Jersey where online gambling is legal. And it's real casino action. I put $25 down and I play the game. I give you my review. I share my casino knowledge of what I know about the game, about gambling in general.
I love that.
And it's fun. So those are the 4 shows. Jersey Joe 50. Please subscribe to me, because you know what, I've been doing this a long time. Having fun with it, and I hope the viewers see that.
He's been doing it very long, and he's been doing it forever. And I'm not kidding you. My entire memory of Joe, since I can remember at 6, is him creating some sort of video, some sort of thing, him and my brother. In fact, as you're talking, I'm thinking, because my Virgo moon and I'm a Gemini sun, and my Virgo moon and rising. Okay. I like to do things myself. And I think as I build my career and building what I've done, I can't just imagine handing everything over one day to like NBC or CBS. No, I'm going to create that shit myself. I'm going to create my own production company. You can be there. Wouldn't that be funny if it all ties in though one day, right? When I make it big, because I will. And then I want to create my own production. I put my work into it. And then I can have you and my brother and Simon, and everyone's back together.
It's interesting because now you can do that. Technology allows anybody to do that. YouTube is out there to put content out. You can download your own editing software. Everybody has a camera phone now. You can download that. Everybody can do it. But let me point this out to you. Everybody can do it, but not everybody can do it well. I would say YouTube, about 40% of it is crap. Yeah. It is like watching my mom trying to figure out the camcorder, and she's putting it in her face like, oh, you're shooting, your cat's doing something hilarious and they got the camera facing the wrong way. It's out of focus. Let me upload it anyhow. So there is some great content out there. There's some people that make their livelihood off of it too. I don't. I'm just having fun with it. I make no money on it whatsoever. And if I do, I do. I don't, I don't. When I first started in television and we first started making movies, the outlet for our movies was showing at the golf course. My outlet was putting a spot on the air on TV. Now, anybody can do it, which, I hope my production value is a little higher than most, but, if it's done well, it can be a blockbuster.
And it will. And then that's why I think I can have you so you can show me how to make good videos one day in my production company. They'll be on the main line of Philadelphia and how to do that. I have it. So you have TikTok now. You're a Jersey Joe on there?
Mm-hmm. Jersey Joe 50 on all platforms. Type in Jersey Joe 50, you will find me. Please don't hack me.
Don't hack them, though. Don't hack them. I'm almost to 10,000 followers on TikTok, actually.
Oh, wow. Wow. Very nice.
Mm-hmm, pretty fast. People love the hair. And I jumped on it. I've been telling people for a year to jump onto TikTok. That's going to be the next big thing. People thought I was crazy. And I was like, no, yeah, it's little kids right now. Those kids get older eventually, just like Instagram. When Instagram first came out, it was just for kids. And it moved over. So right now, it's very easy to build on there. And I'm enjoying the short videos.
It started overseas too, and now it's working its way into the U.S. mainstream. It's still not super mainstream in the U.S., but definitely in the last few months here in 2020, it's growing. And especially people stuck at home right now trying to figure out something to do.
Yeah,
TikTok is definitely a viable option. My show's on there. The format's a little different for TikTok. It's more, it's more up and down as opposed to left and right. It's not so much a TV. It's more of a cell phone kind of format.
The way I work that, my TikTok, is I put a few of my podcast stuff in there, but I really just kind of give it my personality, right? You know what I mean? And try to do that. So wait, let me get into the Jersey Joe, okay? He's never heard anything astrologically or anything about his life.
Can I give you one disclaimer? I had a psychic reading one time on the Atlantic City Boardwalk who told me I would be married by the time I'm 25. My 42nd birthday is next week, and she totally missed that. And somehow, some way, her little booth is still there, although I don't think the woman is anymore. But she... Well,
if I could tell you, if you would have had me read your chart years ago now, I would have told you would not be married for a very long time. In fact, you have Venus in your 12th house, which means you have a problem with... basically showing that side, your emotional side, your love side. You sort of in a way probably feel shame, whether it's something that's totally not even shameful at all. That's you have it hidden in your 12th house. So it's hidden. So all of your romantic and loving natures are all very hidden for you, and kind of it's very protective, as well as a lot of times people in that house, if they do get married later in life, or they're also prone to have love affairs. So you don't have to answer that. Anybody, it would not be shocked if you told me you had a few love affairs with married women. With that,
well, I guess you just give me permission to go ahead and do so.
Go ahead, and especially in older ones too. Again, so it's the oldest house. It's the end of the house, and so things are hidden there. 12th house is not. You have a lot of planets in your 12th house, actually.
Hey, interesting. It's kind of not far from the truth.
Not far from the truth, right? So you are a rising Gemini, right? I'm a Gemini. So in a way, it's funny hearing your communication. So Geminis, you have a sense of you like conversations, you like curiosity, you like the limelight in a sort of way, especially if it's like kind of you can have your own creative flow with it. No one is trying to dictate the way you have to do your creative projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
You can adapt to people pretty easily. You can have conversations with mostly anyone easily. You, again, are probably you're like the peaceful energy in a lot of places because you can just talk to that person. You can talk to that person. You can talk to them. And you can somehow get a conversation going with 5 different types of people.
Yeah, you're right.
And so,
True.
I know I'm true. So a lot of times your chart, okay, so in Hellenistic astrology, your rising sign rules your whole first house. So it starts your chart. It's your temperament. It's your body. It's your personality. It's your sense of self. It's your purpose. It's your, like, they say that like parents lay their prayers for their children in the first house. It's like, okay, here you are. What are you going to be and where are you going to go to from there?
Interesting.
With that. And so you also have Mercury in your 12th house, again, in the sign of Aries. So Aries is fire and passionate. And I'm guessing, this is just my prediction. Again, I'm still learning a lot, but that when it comes to your communication style, you have trouble really discussing what you really, if it comes to maybe more personal matters, not matters of the job, discussing what your true wants, needs, or desires are, or maybe discussing something kind of harder with people. You probably are very quick to block it out or sort of just put on that front, the Jersey Joe front.
It's very interesting because two things. I definitely like to project positivity. Mm-hmm. So I basically do that.
That's Gemini.
I think it's tough to talk about like that. I'm very, very close with, except for there's basically only one person that I'll discuss things with like that, because I've also been burned a lot of times in my life with that, opening
like
up
friends. Really? Yeah.
So I'm extremely close, and I'm also very cautious with who I deeply and implicitly trust, because I have been burned. So I'm very cautious. But so that is correct on that reading too.
You also have your sun in your 12th house too, which again, that's a lot. You got a lot in your 12th house. So you got a lot of hidden stuff there.
Do I need to put annex to my house?
You have, let me see, what else did I write down here? So you have trouble finding your strong sense. Do you have trouble finding your strong sense of self, inner, not your purpose, not your life purpose, right? Not your driven, your passions, but your inner self as to who deep down you once are emotionally, physically, mentally, energetically?
No, I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable with myself and who I am. I'm at where I wanted to be.
Your emotions, your emotional, your innermost personal things.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'm pretty much, the path that I'm on, I chose and made those decisions. And, I stand by those decisions. And yeah, I'm not one of those people look back. Should I have done that? Could I have? Well, you know what? I don't have that choice anymore. So I pretty much stand by who I am and what I am. And yeah, I think I'm pretty grounded in that sense. I think I know what I'm supposed to do, what my sense of worth is in being.
That's good. That right there too that's your fire. So you're an Aries, which you already knew that. Next week's your birthday, but you're also a moon. Your moon is in Aries too, and your Mercury is in Aries. So with that, so Aries are the first of the sign. They're the leaders. They're also the babies though, but they're very much like, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going, and that's how I'm going to get there. And you're not going to stop me. I'm gonna, no one's stopping me. So in a lot of times, does that sound, and you can have a hot temper. Do you yell? Do you ever yell? I was thinking that today when I was looking at your chart. I remember you yelling at my brother, but he's very easy to yell at, so.
Yeah, your brother's flat out pissed me off in life before, especially back in the day. Yes, I can have a fiery temper, but that's also I get that from my mother, who can yell at anybody, and my grandfather was the same way too. They had a fiery temper, but my grandmother was always cool. So yeah, I do get pissed off. I do, and I can let it go. I've gotten into some good arguments. Yes, I don't do it to strangers. I seem to do it more if I'm comfortable. I will tell you though, I have no problem calling my computer here, cussing that thing out, yelling at equipment at work. I've gone round and round with some software before. I've never I've never done any throw things or punch holes in the wall. No. I don't do that. It's more so just I tell it to F off.
How long's your temperament? When you're mad, right? When you're in a bad mood, how long's your temperament last? Or how long does that mood, if someone fucking pissed you off and you're like, how long does that last?
I usually try to get rid of it pretty quickly.
That's the Gemini. That's good.
Now, if it's the same person doing the same thing over and over and over and over, well, that's just going to balloon that up and compound that situation. But if it's an initial thing, if it's an accident, first of all, I usually just let it go. Even if I'm red hot mad, I'll cool that out immediately, because especially it's not done on purpose. You accidentally, you backed into my car. Well, if you weren't doing it on purpose and not being an idiot, it was a genuine accident. Okay. But, if you hit my car 7 times like my old neighbor did in my old apartment building, then I get pissed off. So
how many times?
She hit living in the city here, she hit my vehicle a bunch of times. It got hit in the Target parking lot. Somebody sideswiped it in the street. It was all banged up. We'll put it that way. So
did you ever yell at her?
No, but she came down and told me she did it one time. I let it go the first time. The second time I got really stern with her, and she's like, well, if you want to turn it in the insurance. And I'm like, look, I just don't want the hassle. I'm like, but you got to be better about it. I got stern with her, but she was also just a dipshit in life. And she had kids that were out of control, and her life was out of control. Her family's out of control, and they were a nightmare neighbor. And it was bad. I was so glad when they moved out, because it was really a bad situation. Her kids would tell her to F off. She would tell them to F off. These were 3 and 4-year-olds. She had 3 kids that were just out of control. She would argue with her husband. She was very self-centered.
How old was she?
40-ish. She was a little older than me, but not terribly older. But she was just, the kids were too much for her to handle. I think her life wasn't what it's supposed to be, so she was just a mess. So I kind of like let that go. You know, it all depends. It all depends. But back to your original question, like I said, I try to put the fire out pretty quickly and just.
But when it comes, it's hot. Right? It's hot.
It's very hot. And if I'm in a hot situation, I will walk away. I will walk away. I will disappear and go by myself for a while, whether it's, I'll take it. One of my best ways to calm down whether I'm mad or upset or sad is to take a shower. One of my greatest joys in life is a piping hot shower. And that does wonders for me no matter what I'm feeling. But if I can't, then I'll go for a walk.
I actually really agree with you. And maybe it's because I'm a Gemini and you're a rising Gemini, but I love to shower. And that will definitely, and a bath too, but it will definitely calm me. So overall, like, again, I'll have to look deeper in your chart. Now I have all your chart stuff in my computer saved and much deeper. I'll have to give you more. I would say overall, definitely looking at your career, it's pretty obvious looking at that, how it's all played out, and that's all good. And your career is going to continue to blossom. You have, and as far as money, you have Jupiter in your second house, the house of money. So that's good. I would say, again, the hardest thing that you're struggling with in one of your so our chart is like our karma. It's what we come in here. It's our lessons, or it's our family lessons. It's our ancestral lessons, what we're supposed to change and things. Definitely with you, it's relationships, whether it's not just like an intimate relationship, it could be family relationships, not as much friendships, more family, that really inter-emotional relationships is probably where there's a lot of harder things in your life.
Yeah, that's true because, I'm from Western PA, where, as you know, there's not a lot of people around. You guys are from the area too. My family is not really, they're really, I don't know my father's side at all. Like,
do you know your father?
Like, yeah, I've always been on my mother's side of family. Everybody's getting more elderly now. Anybody I grew up with back home, like you, Ryan, Simon, we all moved away because we live in a dead area. There's no jobs, no future, no life there. So, and I know that now as growing older too, like the family end of it is kind of falling apart too. So I don't really have that support. And I always kind of I was an only child, so I always kind of have been on my own to make things happen, to do things. And I kind of even that way in life. Like I live alone. I'm kind of happy doing that because I also can do what I want, when I want to, how I want it to the best of my ability. And I'm happy doing that. And I stand by those choices.
Well, that's good. And you know who you are. That's good. It is funny to think about where we grew up and think, I would have never changed it. I loved growing up there. It was a magical place, but Lord knows I was ready to go and I could not go back and live there. Yeah, I couldn't either. If I had to, I would. Do I want to? No. It's just it's a sad area. We're from Johnstown. Like there's just abandoned blocks of buildings now. The steel mill's closed. There's next to no future there. Unfortunately, it's sad to see. It's a mini version of Detroit. Like it's hard when I do go home. Like my heart actually aches looking at. Like wow, my God, this used to be so awesome. And my grandparents have family film in the 50s where they would go downtown Johnstown and party and bar hop, and it was like a mini Manhattan. And she was like, it was so great. And she's like, now I look at it and there's not even a convenience store open down there. That's how bad. There's not even fast food at night. That is true. That's sad. That's sad. Yeah, it's probably not coming back. Who knows? You never know. So we're getting to the end of my episode. So at the end, I ask someone 3 questions, okay? I don't know if you know that. Okay, so the first one is, what would you, if you could go back, right, to Johnstown, to Dilltown, and you could talk to little Joe, little 11-year-old, 10, 12, what would you say to him?
What would I say to him? I would say... that's always a tough question because I don't want to taint my own future because I like the choices I made. So I don't want to screw those up because I know, like, say you go back in time and you talk to yourself and you somehow make yourself make a different choice and it changes your outcome. And I don't want to do that because I'm happy with my outcome. But if I had to, I guess I would say try to talk the family into buying you a video camera earlier than they did. It took a long time to like get the family to do that. I wanted one. Get one earlier. I know, and back in the 80s... How
long had it been? Because I think Ryan was 12. How old were you?
I was probably in 8th grade. But, when I was in elementary school, too, video cameras, I was in the 80s, not everybody had it. You had the big, bulky VHS cameras, and they were like $1,000. So I get why we didn't do it. But it would be like, maybe save some money and go get yourself one. Put that in your bank to add more to what you would do later in life.
I like that. Okay, so what is the best piece of advice that someone's ever given you?
I would say, and it's a philosophy that I go with, it's probably you got to always be your best. Always do your best no matter what, because if you're not, somebody else is going to go and run you over and take whatever you have, whatever you want to do. I never give 100%. And no matter anything I do, I give more than 100%. My grandfather actually taught me that. He was like, give everything you've got. 100% is not good enough. And even when I do things at work, like my boss asked me to write a script for something, I always walk in her office knowing everything about the story, and I hand her multiple scripts, not one, sometimes two, sometimes five, and they're color coded so they can see where my ideas are. And they recognize that they like that. And they're like, not only do you give me an option, you give me other options that, but nobody else does that. So that's just one example. Everything I do, I put on TV. I make my spots look flashier. There's better sound. In my web shows, I try to make everything 100% is not good enough.
Well, that's your Aries right there. Your Aries sun and your Aries moon, and it is not good enough. And I'm just, as you're talking, I said, I can't wait till you work for me one day.
I might be booking you for a show.
I know. See, I'll have you. That's funny. All right. So what is, I asked you that one and that one. What do you want to leave our audience with? Like you asked me, what piece of advice, especially right now in times, what do you want to leave everyone with?
I hope that, they can see everything that I do, everything that I am. I'm just doing it to have the best time in life that I can. And I hope that comes through in all of my products. If you look at my web shows, I'm genuinely having fun doing it. I'm having fun doing this, because if it's not worth some personal fun, then it's not worth doing. But if you have enough fun, you project that on yourself, you project that on others. People will want to work with you. They'll want to be around you. They'll want to hang out with you. And that's what it's about. I can be serious when I have to be. I can be very, very serious. I've had to do shoots with, A-list celebrities at work. I had to dress up and do shoots with, politicians that I really don't want to do. But you know what? I still always show up my A game. I try to have as much fun as I can while doing that. So I try to project you. And that's my advice. And I know, like you said on my show, right now, things are tough, the world's tough, but still try to find the positivity and the light in everything that you do. And that's what I try to do in everything. That's why, and if not, I'll go take a hot shower.
I know. I'm thinking I'm going to do one after that too. And I think that's true, because as following you through the years, you've always projected that onto me, thinking like when I watch your stuff, when I see it, it seems like he's having fun. He's enjoying his life in New York City. So you definitely give off that energy.
It's gotten a little too much fun sometimes, a little too much booze. You go a little overboard. Sometimes your friends are like, Joe, why are you yelling things out a car window and things like that? And those stories we will not share in public, but
too much gambling. But I agree. I think you have to have fun, and especially in this, because it can be tough, like in building a following on the internet. And when I first reached out to you, you were like, it takes a long time. It can take forever. Like, so buckle down. But when I do my podcast like you, I feel like I'm living my best life. I'm just having these great conversations every night. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, exactly. And and even like how I'm dressed in a Yankee jersey right now. I'm always dressed. That's how I got my nickname, Jersey Joe. Not because I live in Jersey. I got it long before I even lived here. But it's who I am. I'm comfortable. I'm happy, and that's just the way it is.
And I have never known you without a jersey and the Chucks. Are you wearing Chuck tip while you're inside your house?
Oh my God, the collection, so many colors. It drives me nuts how the Nike Corporation bought them and skyrocketed the price, just like jerseys. But yes, the colors are still very popular.
I'll tell you what, there is an outlet near where I live, a Chuck's outlet, and it is so good. I can't tell you how cheap I get Chuck's there. It's good.
I actually still get mine from Zappos in Las Vegas, and I have them shipped here because somehow there's an outlet store in Atlantic City to actually have a Converse Atlantic City t-shirt. And but Zappos in Vegas still, even when, especially like on a Black Friday deal and there's no shipping, cash in. I actually buy extra sets and then I'll keep it in the closet. So when my black pair does wear out, look, there's a fresh pair ready to go.
That's hilarious.
More than 100% always.
What size are you?
10.5.
I could wear them. So you can send whatever ones you don't want to me, because I wear a size 10. So you can send them.
Tailor sizes are different than regular shoe sizes. Regular shoe sizes are about, Chuck's you got to go a size smaller.
Yeah.
Like regular wear 11, but in Chuck's it's 10.5.
Okay, so 10.5. Small. Well, I'll still wear them. So tell everyone again where they can find you at.
Jersey Joe 50 is the big YouTube channel. Like or subscribe, and follow me on social media. It's also Jersey Joe 50, but that's where I post my picks for my fun online games. That's where I post the funny caption this pick. Put your comment in and you can play on my game show too. Another show I play every week is What Is It Really? Where I'll put a super zoomed in photo of something and ask you, what is it really? People guess, and then I'll edit a mini web show with that together too. No prize now. Now it's just for fun and glory. Maybe someday there'll be a prize. I don't know. But it's I have a good time doing that. And then the Brew also, I always put several days question. I'll put on social media. I'll ask you something like the question this week, for example, is how old is too old to be Easter egg hunting? And people are weighing in, and that's the topic we're going to discuss in the show this week, and we'll go from there because it's close to Easter.
18.
So I'm very active on social media. I will write you back. I love to chat on social media and meet people. I've met so many awesome people online. I've had one thing, if you follow me, I also like to travel for baseball stadiums. Been doing that and doing different trips and traveling. And I have met so many cool people doing that it's actually been like, Twitter should use me for an ad because I'm one of the positive things that ever happened with their platform. And for God's sakes, I need to get an edit button on that thing. But
they need to. They need to if you're listening. Well, thank you, Joe. This was amazing to catch up with you. Like my brother, again, I've known him my entire life. And then we just like caught up on here. But I think there's going to be many more collaborations in the future. And thank you for everyone listening to the quarantine times, I guess we'll call it. I hope everyone this helps you get in a better mindset. And thank you again. If you have any questions, please reach out. The Hair Healer Podcast at yahoo.com. And please follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111. And thank you, everyone. Love you all. And goodbye.